Hi guys, another video from me, trying to keep up to my weekly schedule. This time I'm going to be talking about a particular subject that it's one of the things that I've had to deal with quite a lot in my life, and I've struggled to deal with, and that's kind of like respecting myself, and I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. So over the last few months I have kind of come to the conclusion that I haven't really been respecting myself as much as I should be, or should have been. And it does take you a while to sometimes realise that you don't, and that's absolutely fine. Like, life is a journey and you do take your time to understand these things. And these are the things that I did that kind of showed that I didn't respect myself as much as I could have. If you watch my previous video on why I got therapy, you might kind of understand already, you know, what kind of led me to not respect myself as much as I could have. And my housemate's cat has decided he needed to be in this room, don't know why, but yeah. So one of the things that I did do that I shouldn't have done, which kind of was a reflection on the respect that I had for myself, is letting people treat me badly. In my life, I've kind of let people off the hook a little bit too much, and if somebody has done something to me, I'd often make excuses for them and say, well, you know, they apologised, it's fine, and you kind of keep letting them treat you badly. So one of the things would be is maybe they take something of yours or speak to you in a certain way that really isn't respectful. And, you know, quite often some of my friends would take me aside and say, look, my camera is shaking because the cat decided to bite it. You know, a couple of my friends who obviously did have that respect for me said, look, like, the way he's treating you is, you know, or him or her, the way they're treating you is just not, you know, appropriate. You're letting them get away with quite a lot, and I wouldn't tolerate that myself. You know, an example would be is this friend of mine would always put me down and kind of compare me to other girls and say, oh, you're not as pretty as that person, or kind of imply that, maybe not say that particularly in those exact words, but kind of imply that, you know, those kinds of things. Hello there, Mr. Kitty, how you doing? Do you guys want to see my housemate's cat? He doesn't really like being picked up, but there he is. See, he doesn't like it at all, but you know, yeah, you like staring at that, don't you? You like staring at the camera. Somebody has made comments just generally about my appearance, like people have made comments about my appearance, and I've sort of said, oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter, it's fine. You know, people treating me just in not very nice ways, basically. So one of the things that I did notice is, you know, my friends were better than me at doing this. So, for example, you know, if my friend ever got disrespected or spoken to in a way that was really disrespectful, they would stand up. I don't know what you're doing. He's staring at the camera. I would not be surprised if my camera falls in a minute, because this cat looks like he's gonna jump. Then people treat you badly, just general things, you know, the ways people speak to you, the actions that people have towards you. You know, I'd give excuses to people, and really, you know, you don't need to give excuses to people. People should know when they're treating someone badly, and there's a difference between somebody continuously putting you down to just saying something a little bit off the mark, you know, like, I'm not on about a bad day that somebody has and then they turn around and say, oh, look, like, I'm sorry, this will never happen again, and I didn't mean to upset you. And a lot of the time, when you don't have a lot of self-confidence or self-respect for yourself, you will find that people will try and pin the blame on you, and then because you don't have that respect for yourself and you don't hold yourself in that high regard, you kind of back down easier. And that's, you know, moving on to my second point, is I didn't really stand up for myself much. I sort of, if somebody treated me badly, I just sort of, you know, I'd walk away, or I wouldn't really say anything, and I'd kind of just be like, yeah, okay. And then, you know, if someone said something to me, I'd ignore it. And, you know, if you want to ignore it, it's fine, but when it's coming to the point when you ignore it and let it happen again, that's a different story. There comes a point where you just have to say, look, this is, you know, I don't like the way you're speaking to me, this is, you know, this is really inappropriate, this is immature, this is why are you staring at the light? He just bashed his tail on the floor. I don't know what he's doing. You know, just generally not standing up for yourself. Like, If somebody upsets you or does something to you that you don't like, you should be able to say that to them. But if you feel scared to do that, then, you know, it could be that you don't respect yourself that much and you don't want to lose that person, you don't want to, you know, cause conflict. And leading on to my next point, if you don't have a lot of self-respect, you may tend to find that you put yourself down a lot. And that is not something that you should ever do. You should never put yourself down. If you have a lot of respect for yourself, you don't tend to really put yourself down. Or I acknowledged that I put myself down a lot, and I'd always, what are you doing? I'm trying to concentrate and you're trying to attack my camera. He's gonna do it. Are you gonna do it? What's she doing? Apologies if my camera angle has changed. The cat was really adamant in looking at the camera, so yeah. Now, when you put yourself down, it's a sign that you don't hold yourself in a high regard. Now, I'm not saying you should hold yourself in a high regard to a point where you think you're better than people, because that's not another can of worms, and that's just arrogance and potentially narcissism, and you don't want to be a narcissist. You really don't want to be a narcissist. So I spent a lot of my time putting myself down, just really, what are you doing, mate? You can't see him, but he's like proper being a meerkat right now. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. What are you doing, mate? This cat, look, sit here. Do you want to look at yourself? Look, that's you. He doesn't want it. It's like, what are you doing? There he is. There he is. Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, going back to the self-respect point, I don't really hold myself in a high regard. Putting yourself down can be just generally not feeling good enough, feeling like, you know, almost like the whole world is against you, I guess, and being overly critical of yourself, you know, thinking that everything you're doing is wrong. Yeah, I mean, generally, putting yourself down is just, you know, being overly critical of yourself, you know, thinking that you're not worthy of respect, thinking you're not worthy of having friends even, thinking you're not worthy of a promotion at a job, thinking you're not, you know, you're just not thinking much of yourself, really. And I think that's one of the reasons why we do let people walk over us, because we don't think we deserve respect almost. We don't deserve it. We don't, you know, and I know to a point respect is earned and not given, but I do think that generally speaking, when you have respect for yourself, you will find that people respect you more. So it's a catch-22 really. When you don't respect yourself, a lot of people around you will also not respect you. So I do think it's really important that we do learn to love ourselves. We do learn to hold ourselves in the same regard as how we hold our friends and our family. Would you ever, you know, tell your sister that she's not worthy of a promotion, tell your sister she's not worthy of respect, tell your sister that she isn't beautiful, or, you know, not worthy of going far in life, you know, doesn't deserve to be treated and so on. You wouldn't ever say that. You would, because you respect the people around you. And so the way you respect the people around you should be the way you respect yourself. Moving on to the next point is constantly seeking validation. Now, when you don't think highly of yourself, you constantly need reassurance. You need reassurance that you are good enough. You constantly need reassurance that everything's going to be okay, and, you know, and you'll often fish for compliments, for example. That's one thing that I have done so much in the past. I've done it so much in the past, and honestly, people don't respect you when you seek validation as well. That's one of the things you have to remember. But one of the things I did online a lot was, you know, I don't think I'm pretty enough, I don't think I'm good enough, I don't think I'm smart, I don't think I'm funny. And that's obviously, you know, putting myself down, but I'd put that on there to try and get somebody to kind of comfort me in a way that says, oh no, you're beautiful, you're, you know, absolutely amazing, you know, you're stunning. And it just comes to a point where when you don't get it, it feels, when you don't get the validation you seek, it feels honestly terrible. And then that's when you start comparing yourself to others, because you think, oh, this person is getting so much more attention than me, and I don't understand why. What's wrong with me? Why does everybody gravitate towards this person? And you continue to seek validation because you constantly want what you're seeing around yourself. Fishing for compliments is definitely something I've done in the past, and it's not something, I've realised that now. I've realised that in the past that it was, dangerous to me, and it wasn't good for me mentally to seek validation from other people, because the only person, you have to believe it in yourself. You can't have others tell you, who you are as a person. One of my next points is trying to be someone you're not. And I've done this, plenty of times when I've wanted to impress someone. I've done this plenty of times when I really want to be someone's friend, And you shouldn't have to try to be someone's friend. It's either natural and you click, or it's not. And you have to remember, not one single person on this planet gets on with everyone. It's just impossible. We're all different. We all have different views. We all have different senses of humour. We all have different tastes in music, we all have different tastes in so many different things, different opinions, different circumstances in life, and sometimes you just don't get on with people, and you shouldn't have to feel like you should get on with everyone. At the end of the day, you just have to learn to just be yourself, because that's when you'll find, when you're yourself with someone, it is truly one of the most comforting and relaxing things ever. It feels natural, and you feel comfortable, you feel happy. You generally feel happy when you're not trying hard, not trying too hard to be someone you're not, Yeah, and definitely instances in the past where I've tried to be this loud, confident person, and because that's not me naturally, it comes off as really non-authentic, and it's not, it just doesn't feel real, and people can see through that. People will always be able to see through a personality that isn't real. And you also have to remember, why are you trying to be someone you're not? It's because you don't like yourself very much, and everybody deserves to love themselves and like themselves, of course everybody has their faults, and everybody has things that they need to grow. We all have, there's always going to be a personality trait in us that we might think, that we might not like about ourselves. For example, sometimes I can not fly off the handle, but I could handle things better, for example. Sometimes I could handle situations more maturely. I think everyone at some point has not handled something they should have handled, and they should have handled it better. Some people get too defensive. Anyone who I've ever spoken to as well has said, when you feel like you truly are able to be yourself, that's when you're happiest as well. So I think we all owe it to ourselves to just be ourselves. And everyone's scared of being judged, everybody's scared of being ridiculed and being called, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Even when you're an adult, you feel this pressure to be a certain way. You feel this pressure to be this bold, charismatic person. Like I said, I think at some point we've all tried to be something. We've all tried to pretend to be something we're not. And in the end, I think most of us come to the same conclusion at the end of it. When we finally realise that it really isn't worth our time investing so much energy into something that, isn't really worth it. It's not worth hiding who you truly are if that's all you're ever going to do, because your true self is always going to come out to some point. And you just, imagine meeting someone, someone at a party, for example, and, you're not really yourself. You kind of pretend to be this. I don't know. Can't think of an example, but you just basically pretend to be someone you're not, and then as they get to know you, they kind of find out that you're the complete opposite to them. For example, they could think that you're this loud, boisterous person, but you could just be this quiet anime nerd. You actually realise that you don't actually have a lot in common, and you've invested all this time trying to impress someone that you're not really compatible with, friends-wise, partner-wise. And honestly, it's a lot of work to pretend to be something you're not. It really is. So that's pretty much all the things that I noticed in myself that kind of pointed to the fact that I didn't really respect myself. And if anyone watching this feels that they relate to it, then, my advice to you is just take a step back and, have a little think about it. Because everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves to love themselves. Everybody deserves to be able to freely stand up for what they feel. You don't want to feel like you can't speak your mind because you're scared of somebody not wanting to be a part of your life anymore. Or, you don't want to have your friends constantly remind you, why are you letting this person treat you badly? Or you don't want to have this, you don't want to surround yourself with people that don't respect you, don't want to treat you how you should be treated. Because everybody deserves to be treated with respect. But you also have to remember that to a point, respect is kind of earned and not given. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, because I personally think that, when I meet someone, I think they deserve respect, and just to realise that when you seek validation, it in the end, it never really makes you feel any better. It usually ends up making you feel worse, and you should be able to comfortably be yourself without feeling like you're not worthy. You don't want to give somebody an excuse to treat you badly. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve to be able to speak your mind. You deserve to be yourself. You deserve to love yourself in a way that you don't seek validation. You deserve to stand up for what you believe in. And I do hope that anyone watching this, if they do feel like they don't really respect themselves, that they can move forward and they can learn to do that, because it is a long process. It takes a long time to realise, and I'm still getting there myself. There's still things that I could be doing. I do think that I do tend to still let people off the hook when I shouldn't really. I am working on standing up for what I believe in. I'm working on being able to speak my mind. I'm working on not having to feel like pressure to be a certain way to kind of fit someone else, to please them. And one of the things that I do pride myself on a lot more recently is that I have definitely seen myself not seeking validation anymore, especially in the last 3 to 4 months. It's just something that I don't really seek anymore, and that's a good step in the right direction. I'm making all the steps in the right direction, and I think everybody can. And for me, it was definitely therapy definitely helped me. I'm not saying that's what everybody needs. I'm just saying that for me is what helped me, and to really reflect on myself, on why I let these things happen. But I do hope this video has helped some people, or you can relate to some of these things, and I hope that you do kind of find a way to be more confident in yourself, to learn to love yourself. And with people treating you badly, for example, would you let them treat your friend like that? If the answer is no, then it's not acceptable for them to do that to you. Pretending to be someone you're not. Think about it like this. If you are yourself, you will attract people like you, and you will be happier. You'll be happier, more content, and you'll build some of the most strongest relationships and friendships. And my point about putting yourself down, if you put yourself down, you'll stay in the same place. But if you begin to realise where your strengths are, you can work on them and you can build yourself up. When it comes to needing validation, you don't need anybody to tell you that you're fine the way you are, because you already are. Nobody's perfect. No one is perfect. Don't compare yourself to others, because it's always a slippery slope, and you are your own person. And my advice for not being able to speak your mind, by speaking your mind and standing up for what you believe in, you're standing by the things you stand for, and that makes you're standing by the things that you stand for, which you're able to speak your mind, you're able to solve a lot more problems, you're able to work through things and process things. in a different way, whereas if you stay silent, you don't speak up, you end up suffering quite a lot. So yeah, guys, I do hope that this video helps anyone who is also feeling some of the things that I've felt or has gone through some of the things that I have. And thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you again next week.